Welcome everybody to the Daily Antidote of Song. We're so glad you're joining us today on this fabulous, what I think is a Tuesday, and I hope I got that right. So welcome to what I think is also maybe day 1402 or 1403. I can't two. Today is day 1402. Thank you so much for joining us here in our beautiful Daily Antidote of Song. We want to greet everybody who's watching us out there on Facebook Live and on YouTube. Thank you for being here. And of course, hi to everybody here in the room. It is Black History Month. We are singing a lot of songs that are either reflecting on Black history or that are thinking of and talking about anti-racism and activism. We are an anti-racist space, and we welcome all of the folks in the room and out there on the live stream to always be doing this work and taking this journey with us. So I'm going to say hi to everybody in the room, and then we'll talk to our fabulous song leader for the day, Greg Greenway, who's coming in from Virginia. Let's say hi to Aaron, running tech for us out of Brooklyn, New York. Thank you, Aaron, for being here. Hi, of course, to Greg, who's here from Virginia. Hello to Mabel and a bear in Massachusetts, Deborah in Kentucky, Deli in Maryland, Arlene in California, Julie in Ontario, Canada, Aloysius in Mass, Susan in Cincinnati, Ohio. Hello to Jim Scott Music. Jim has been one of our song leaders in the past. We're glad you're here with us today. I think Massachusetts. Hello to Hoda in British Columbia, Sheila in North Florida, Cricket in Maryland, Sue in Cincinnati, Laris coming in from the UK. Hello, glad to have you. I love your beautiful heart tree background. Lola coming in from BC, Canada. Nice to have you back again. Bonnie in Boise, Idaho. Hello. Hi, Caroline in DC, Annette in California, Kathleen in Albuquerque, Ruth in Birmingham, UK, Clive in Birmingham, UK. You guys are right next to each other. Very cute. Storm in Massachusetts, Bob and a bear coming in from Massachusetts, and Jillian coming in from the UK. Nice to see you, Jillian. Not sure if you're new to us today. Glad you're with us. Athena coming in from Brooklyn. Glad to have you. There's Willard from the Curly Tops coming in from Vermont. Anne in Silver Spring just popped on my screen. And folks who are, Tusi, hello, nice to see you. Folks who are off video today, Isabel in Florida, Gary in Mass, Marcia. Let's see, we got Phil and the gang coming in from Newcastle, UK, Sarah, Kathy, Baker, and Dick are song leaders and hosts in the room. Glad to have you guys here, potentially in pajamas. Sandy in Western North Carolina, Sarah in Texas, Hindi in Toronto. Let's all take a deep breath. Oh, I think I also just saw Karen in Oregon. Yeah, okay, thank you so much. If I miss saying hi to you on the front end, we'll get you on the goodbye end of things. I want to encourage everybody to please engage with the content that we're putting into our new anti-racist corner in our e-news. Great quotes, great songs to revisit from when we focused on anti-racism, and great readings or podcasts. And we've got a really great person in the room with us today for sort of continuing on our anti-racist journey. Greg Greenway is a folk singer, songwriter, musician, and activist extraordinaire, especially on anti-racist issues. So Greg Greenway, welcome. We are so glad to have you back again for what is time 4, I checked.
I'm sorry. Say that last part again. I missed
Oh,
that.
I said you're here for the 4th. No, you're here for the 5th time right now. You've been here.
Oh, okay. All right.
You've been here 3 times.
Every time is a complete honor, and it is an honor to sing for these folks here who brought themselves here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. So I know that we're going to sing 2 songs with you, one at the beginning and one after we have a discussion. And I'm wondering if you want to let us know what you're going to bring first.
Yeah, the first song I'm going to do is called Mighty Long Way. And it's a song that I had a friend who did an anti-violence presentation at the Capitol in the U.S. And he was introduced to, he's a young black man, and he was introduced to John Lewis, Representative John Lewis. And John Lewis kind of took him under his wing and took him up to his office and said, look at the office that Nancy Pelosi gave me. It looks straight down the mall to the Lincoln Memorial. And this just killed me, because here's a man who started out his life in little teeny Troy, Alabama, heard Martin Luther King on the radio and said, I am going to be a part of that. This is going to be my life. And then from all of that, he was the first person across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, leader of SNCC. And he also was on the dais in August of '63 speaking before Dr. King, and they had to calm him down. I believe it was A. Philip Randolph who had to take him aside and say, you know, you got to tone this down, because we want today to be, the message today is, I have a dream. But if you look at his speech on YouTube, you will see the subcutaneous boiling of him because he was so angry at the death, at the beatings, at all that his SNCC members had in Mississippi and Alabama. All this before Selma had happened. So anyway, this journey, the fact that he was sitting in his office in the State House, in the Capitol, U.S. Capitol, looking down to the Lincoln Memorial, said the words came to my mind, it's a mighty long way from there to here. You know, and it's a mighty long way from where they were then to where we are now, but it's a mighty long way to where we want to be. So do you want me to go ahead and start? Sing it?
Yes, yes, please. And thank you for those beautiful words. What a great way to enter into your song.
Well, it's just, that has such a history. Let me get my note. A mighty long way from over yonder. Oh, it's a mighty long way from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. Here's how it works. Oh, it's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from over yonder, a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from there to here, from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. It's a lot of words in the second half of that, so if you just want to ooh through the second half, that's fine till you get it, because it'll happen several times. Let's do it again. Oh, it's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from over yonder, a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from there to here, there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. Now what can a man see? Ooh, outside his window, it's a whole lifetime from there to here. And all those people who gave their sweat and their blood so that he could make that walk from there to here. Oh, it's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from over yonder, a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from there to here, from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. Now every child born is a revolution, with a song inside. Some won't hear it, oh, some hear nothing else. You'll sing night and day just to keep that song alive. Oh, it's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from over yonder, a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. Now when you've got a dream, you got to stand up and shout it loud and clear. What's that I'm hearing? It's the voice of the people singing, that's you, that we will make that walk from there to here. Oh, it's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from over yonder, a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. So that we can make that walk from there to here. So that we can make that walk from there to here.
Wow.
Everybody.
Thank you so much, Greg Greenway. That was really beautiful, very powerful. Thank you so much. Beautiful story leading into the song. On the subject of all of the work there is to be done, do you want to talk a little bit more kind of how you're doing right now and feeling about the state of the world?
Well, I think that, and I have to say that, I go around the country with Reggie Harris. We do Deeper Than the Skin, and I hope that some of you or most of you have seen us present that because we were born 3 days apart, and me in Richmond, Virginia, born into the lost cause mythology. That's what I was handed. That was what the people who love me and who told me about the world, they told me that story. And Reg was born in Philadelphia, and we come to find out his family is from essentially Richmond. I am sitting in Ashland, Virginia right now, and 5 miles from where I am right now is Hickory Hill Plantation, which is where Reggie's family started, his traceable family started, between a Confederate brigadier general and an enslaved woman. And he had 5 children through her, and it was a beautiful arranging of the laws in Virginia so that people could own their own children. But that's where Reggie's family started. And then we separated, and then amazingly enough, we met sitting in the green room at the village gate in Greenwich Village. So what are the odds that our DNA would come up the James River, that one little portal of the European entrance and an enslaved human being's entrance into this world, this new world. And then for us to not have met each other at all and to sit in that green room at the village gate and immediately start talking about race. We immediately started our situation there. So back in that day, nobody, the great mass of white people in the United States did not want to talk about race. I mean, I had written songs about it because of my upbringing in Richmond, and you are told a story, and then of course I was just at the time when the schools were being integrated, and I was a basketball player and a musician, so I crossed racial lines before most everybody did in Richmond, and so for me, talking about race was just what you did. That meant you were having something serious, but I also know growing up in the South that if you were around people you didn't know, you didn't do that. You didn't talk about race. It was impolite. So I do believe now that through all this time and pain, I think the George Floyd murder changed things. I think there have been a couple of seminal moments in U.S. history that were brought about by television. And one I'm old enough to say that was when the Vietnamese general put the pistol to the head of the guy in Saigon and just shot him like nothing. I think that changed public opinion in the United States. Like that was just a step too far. And I think that George Floyd was a step too far. Like people saw a white man dispassionately sit on and choke the life out of a fellow human being who was begging for his life, and everybody around them were begging for his life. And something inside of that man separated the humanity from him and the man he was killing. And hasn't this always been the way? That we can find the words somehow inside of us to separate us from our brothers and our sisters. And so when Reggie and I started doing this, it was even before the election of 2016. So that sort of cemented the deal when the white nationalist backlash has come into full throttle now with Donald Trump, in the face of Donald Trump. Basically, what I think for white people it is, well, for the first time it's being talked about. I don't think you have to tell any person of color anywhere about this. This is a daily occurrence. This is a minute by minute occurrence. But this is suddenly, the great orb of safety and whiteness has been affected to some degree. And so I believe we have an incredible opportunity. Even though there are people like Ron DeSantis, using words like woke, now he spits when he says the word woke. Well, okay, let's spit on enlightenment, huh? Let's talk about knowing and enlightenment. So obviously, you have to control the story and the information, and that's what the right has tried to do. And so it is our job to continue to tell the truth and to put the story out there. And that means on a personal level, if you're sitting somewhere where somebody says something, don't let it slide. I lived in Massachusetts, and my heart is in the People's Republic of Massachusetts, and I'm not used to hearing this stuff as much, I'll say. It's not that Massachusetts is pristine by any chance. But I was sitting at a dinner table with someone down here in Virginia that I didn't know. We had all gone out to dinner after a yoga class. You would think that a yoga class would almost be self-selecting, but not everywhere, So this woman across the table said something about, I said something about the statues coming down, and she said, yeah, and who was that good for? Now, I could have just eaten my Mexican food, but I looked at her and I said, for me, because it has to be personal. It has to be personal because that person is so far away from me being able to have the real discussion with. I have to get her to trust me, to understand that she might hear me, because this is the discussion we have to have. There's a great book called Don't Label Me that really discusses this. We can't ignore the right. We can't say that these are imbecilic people that are irrational. No, these are human beings who have their circumstances vastly different than mine. And I'm not going to assume anything about anybody in this broadcast. But we need to have the dialogue between everyone, not just between everybody who agrees with us. And so in so doing, the way I've always done it is, and I think growing up in apartheid like I did, is I understood that you can't point fingers at people and you can't bring up facts. You have to tell stories. You have to hold up heroes. And maybe somewhere can see the heroism in those people. I came from a family where my dad jokingly called black people Martin Luthers. And as I grew up and realized that at 16, Dr. King was in a theological seminary, and then by whatever age he'd won the Nobel Peace Prize. And here's my father, who's a blue-collar guy, never went to college, still feeling that he had some power over this person. And there's that blindness. So holding up heroes, one of my earliest songs was called Rosa Parks. And it was just trying to portray the courage of this human being, because we all as human beings understand courage. And this part of the Rosa Parks story that just kills me was not the fact that it was courageous that she sat in the seat. The most courageous part was her family begged her not to do it the night before for fear of reprisals. So her courage was in the face of everyone around her saying, don't do this. And she did this. And she started this. So the courage of these people, courage is something that everyone, no matter what their ideology is, they appreciate and understand. So if we can walk back the chain of experience somehow and then get somebody to see somebody else's face as not the other, as that we are all in this together, as Dr. King said, in a web of mutual design, So, it's like we just have to keep saying it every day, every minute, and don't sit silently, and move your feet and move your hands, and then maybe we'll move some hearts.
So thank you so much, Greg Greenway. Can everybody take a deep breath with me? That was so content and emotionally packed, and I absolutely I want to go back and listen to it again, because I was having a hard time processing at the speed with which each one of those things you were saying deserved its own processing moment. And so much of what you said is stuff that we have either talked about or reflected on in this room. And every person who comes here and says it differently than the person before gives us another moment of processing, and so I'm super, super grateful to you. I oftentimes during the discussion ask what the artist has coming up or projects that they would like to share. And so I hate to shift gears right now and ask you what you've got coming up, but can you tell us what you've got coming up just so folks in the room know where to find you next?
Yeah, well, it's in perfect liaison to this. Reggie Harris and I will be singing at Godfrey Daniels in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on Super Bowl Sunday, kind of going in the face of the great, the great machine.
That's
So
good.
for all the football widows and all the people who don't buy that crap, the what the paramilitary, exercise of pro football, um, as one of my friends used to call it. Um, you have an alternative. And Godfrey Daniels is, if you've ever been there, it's really right in your face. It's very up close and personal. And Reg and I we're not gonna do Deeper Than the Skin. We're just gonna do what we love. I mean, we love doing Deeper Than the Skin, but that's a whole different thing. We're gonna play music together, and something we've been doing for a long, long, long time. So
Beautiful.
that's coming up there, and I will be in Massachusetts. I'm trying to think of all the things I'm doing. Oh my God. Oh yes, We're gonna do a Phil Oakes song night in Morristown, New Jersey on the 23rd of February, and that's going to be me, Reggie, Pat Wichter, the fabulous Pat Wichter, and the fabulous Louise Mostry Combs. So all four of us will be there, and we'll be doing a night of Phil Oakes music. And then on March 9th, I will be in Needham, Massachusetts at the Homegrown Coffee House. So
Great.
that's enough time with that.
Great. Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much. And just quickly, are any of them live streamed? Do you know, or is that all just if you're there, you can come?
That's all live stuff, but I'll be doing a live stream. I believe I'm doing a live stream on Thursday. Yeah, so it'll be live on Facebook and live on Zoom. And you can go to greggreenway.com. I believe that's up there. At least the date is. And if it isn't, I'll put it up now before you go. So give me time. But yeah, I'll be doing a live stream at 7:30 this Thursday, I believe it is.
Great.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Awesome.
But it'll
Thank
be in
you.
there somewhere.
Perfect. Okay, so we've got your links in the chat to Deeper Than Skin and to your website, and so everybody can go ahead and follow Greg's upcoming things and hopefully attend them. And Greg, I know you have a second song for us. Can we sing with you?
Yeah, this is a song that was inspired by a photograph that I saw of Dr. King standing in his office in front of a picture of Gandhi, showing us his influence. Dr. King said, "Hate is too heavy a burden to carry." Because a lot of time people don't understand what carrying hate does to them, what it does to you internally. It's like it's like the quote that's always from Nelson Mandela, that carrying hate is like swallowing poison and expecting the other person to get sick. So the basis of this song is hate is too great a weight to bear. And it talks to a world where they're trying to get us to meet each other in the dark as strangers surrounded by fear. So, but what will be repeated is hate is too great a weight to bear. Okay, so this is called Jericho Road. At the edge of Jericho Road, beneath the streetlights, yellow-orange glow, the feared and the fallen go in the way of predator and prey. No one spared, 'cause hate is too great a weight to bear. In a cage of shadows we meet, naked, bloodied in the street. At the mercy, at the feet of the way of predator and prey. No one spared, 'cause hate is too great a weight to bear. When the darkness on shattered pavement, the better angels 'cause everyone holds some part of the truth. Now I'm in your way. Do we stay on Jericho Road, forever going nowhere? The hate is too great a weight to bear. I hate it's too great a weight to bear. I hate it's too great a weight to bear. Hate it's too great a weight to bear.
Wow. Greg Greenway, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. So much to think about. And I really love the way that you've been talking about it. You know, like some line you just even said right in that song, like, I see you, or I trust you, or I hope you've got it. I know you've got it. I trust you've got it. What do you remember what you just sang? It was really great.
I'm in a different space. I can't pull lines out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, but
Everybody, you heard it.
No, it's the I believe in you.
That was it. Yeah. Okay.
The
But
last word, because everyone holds some part of the truth.
there you go. Right. So you can see what my brain did with that line. I turned that into, like 3 or 4 different sentences that all meant somewhat the same thing. So thank you so much. That was really, really beautiful. I'm wondering if we can sing just a couple choruses of Mighty Long Way with you again before we leave, just to get everybody right back into that power of singing.
Yes. It's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from over yonder, from over yonder. It's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. Oh, it's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from over yonder, a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here, so that we can make that walk from there to here, so that we can make that walk from there to here.
Woo! Thank you, Greg Greenway. Can we all please give it up for Greg Greenway? Amazing, beautiful. I hope nobody heard me. I forgot to mute, and I was singing right along with you. And sometimes Zoom puts one voice over the other. So I hope you all heard Greg that whole time and not me singing along. But I sure was having a blast singing along. So Greg, thank you so much. Again, one more time for Greg Greenway. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone.
Hope to see you again soon, right here in this space or in some of the spaces you'll be inhabiting. And folks, if you can all help me wave Greg goodbye, just back from his tour. I know he's got lots to do. Have fun unpacking, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Greg. Great to see you. And thanks, everybody, for joining us here today. Can't wait to see you all again tomorrow and for the rest of this week and weeks moving forward ad infinitum. Thanks for being here again to celebrate day 1402 here in the Daily Antidote of Song. Help me wave everybody out of the live stream. Thanks, live stream, for joining us today. And if you all can help me wave each of us out of the room, do the little thingo where we all look at each other in the eye. Here we go. Aaron, coming in from Brooklyn, thank you so much for being here. Mabel and the Bears, thank you so much. Deborah in Kentucky, thank you. Arlene in California, thank you. Susan in Cincinnati, thank you so much. Sheila in North Florida, thank you so much. Cricket in Maryland, thank you. Susan in Seattle, thank you so much. Laris in the UK, thank you. Lola in British Columbia, thanks for being here. Bonnie in Boise, thank you. Caroline in DC, thank you. Annette in California, thank you. Ruth in Birmingham, thank you. Clive in Birmingham, thank you. I really love the fact that Zoom put you guys next to each other. Diane in Puerto Rico, thank you. I think I missed you on the hello end. Glad you're here. Sandy Moore coming in from Tacoma Park, Maryland. Hello, glad you're here. And also goodbye. Dawn in the curly tabs, thank you. Kathleen in Albuquerque, thank you. I'm sorry, that was Willard over there in Vermont. And Athena, thanks for being here, coming in from Brooklyn. Deli in Maryland, thank you so much. Karen in Oregon. Jim coming in from, I think, Massachusetts. Storm, thank you so much for being here. Anne in Silver Spring, thank you. Bob and the Bear, thank you. Hoda in British Columbia, or that's Bob Sansbear, I can't tell. Hoda in British Columbia, thank you. Aloysius in Mass. Gary in Mass. Jane in Texas, I think I missed you on the hello end. Glad you're here. And folks off video, Carol in Connecticut, Isabel in Florida. Marcia, Marcia's here, coming in from Huntsville, Ontario. Nice to see you, also on video. Sarah, thank you. Phil and the gang in Newcastle, thank you. Kathy Baker and Dick Jackson over there in the background, thanks for the heart. Sandy in Western North Carolina. Indy in Toronto, Lynn in Connecticut, and Anna, our Daily Antidote of Song Program Manager. Thank you for being here today. Everybody, please take a deep breath. Help me wave that live stream out. Bye, gang.